The world is cloaked in the absolute, suffocating stillness of a 5 a.m. winter morning. Outside, the frozen Ohio fields are buried in deep shadows. And within the walls of my home, the rhythmic breathing of my sleeping family is the only sound to break the silence. I stand solitary in my room, clutching a small, unassuming object in both hands. To the English world, this cheap plastic tool is a mere triviality, a disposable item costing less than $1. But to me, a 15-year-old girl raised within the strict traditions of the old order Amish in Holmes County, it carries a gravity that feels almost soul-crushing. It is not a weapon, yet it feels dangerous. My name is Rebecca. I am 18 now, and for 3 long years I have guarded a secret I never dared whisper to my mother, my sisters, or a single living soul. I carried this hidden weight alone, tucked away from the light.
I grew up never knowing this was a formal rule at all, simply because it was never spoken. It existed in the silent behavior of every woman around me, an assumed truth as certain as the rising sun. That changed the summer I turned 14, when my cousin Leah visited from an old order district in Indiana. One sweltering afternoon, we sat together on the shaded porch, shelling peas, the heat thick and heavy around us. Against the temperature, Leah had rolled her sleeves up to the elbow. I glanced at her arm, and my breath caught. Something I expected to see, the natural texture of hair, was not there. Her skin was unnervingly smooth. Leah noticed my sudden focus, but she offered no explanation. She simply gave a tiny, almost invisible shrug and returned her attention to the peas. I did not ask. In our world, you do not ask about such things. Yet a question I had no words for began to burn in my chest like a restless ember.
Weeks later, at the fabric store in town, a simple movement shattered my remaining innocence. An English girl reached up for a heavy bolt of cloth, and as her sleeve slid back, I saw it. The stark, smooth skin of her arm and her lower leg. For the first time in 15 years, I became acutely aware of my own body from the outside. It wasn't a feeling of shame, but rather a sudden, strange awareness that wouldn't leave me. I tried to push the thought away as fast as I could, burying it beneath chores and prayers, but the seed had been planted. It was October when I finally found the instrument of my change. While cleaning the bathroom, reaching into the very back of a dark cabinet, my fingers brushed against something smooth and plastic. It was a single disposable razor, forgotten months earlier by an English relative. I held it, put it back, and thought about it for an entire week. Finally, I hid it behind a loose trim board in my closet. The fact that I kept it told me a truth about myself I was not yet ready to hear.
The first time happened in the biting, hollow chill of early winter. At 5 a.m., frost patterned the window like delicate lace, and the wash basin held only freezing water. There was no hot running water in our home to soften the transition. I stood there in the dim light, looking at the razor in my hand. It felt like something that possessed a hidden door, a gateway that could open somewhere I had never been. I did not know yet whether that somewhere was holy or terrible. I only knew that it existed and was calling to me. What followed took less than 10 minutes. It was an act so ordinary that in the English world it is performed every day without a single thought. For me, however, it felt like the most deliberate and defiant thing I had ever done. When I finished, I emptied the basin out the window into the dark, watching the water vanish. I put everything back and went downstairs. My dad's boots were on the porch, and wood smoke rose from the kitchen stove. Everything looked identical to every other morning, except for the quiet, simmering difference within me.
Before I even reached the bottom of the stairs, the guilt arrived, heavy and cold. I want to be honest about that guilt. It wasn't simply a fear of getting caught. It was a terrifying suspicion that the community was right, that this one private, invisible choice was the beginning of an unraveling that could never be stopped. I sat at the breakfast table and apologized inwardly so many times I lost count before the sun had even fully risen. They were sincere apologies, born from a girl who truly did not know if she had committed a small mistake or a monumental sin. Yet, despite the weight of it, I did not throw the razor away. That morning marked the beginning of 3 years spent carrying two distinct selves inside one body. There was the Rebecca who sat in the church pews every Sunday, singing from the Ausbund and meaning every single word. Then there was the Rebecca with a plastic secret hidden behind her closet trim. Both versions were completely real. Holding both of them every day with no one to tell created an exhaustion I am still searching for the words to describe. I am 18 now, standing in the same room where it all began. Through a borrowed device, I discovered a world beyond our fields, watching videos that made something unlock deep within my chest, a lock I hadn't even realized was there. I am not here to tell you that I am leaving my community. I do not know the answer to that yet. The life I grew up in gave me real, beautiful things: faith, belonging, and the profound knowledge of what it means to be part of something much larger than oneself. Those things are not nothing. However, I now know that curiosity about your own body is not a sin of pride. It is not the first step of a soul turning away from God. It is something so fundamentally human that no community, however sincere, can fully reach it. That 15-year-old girl standing alone in the cold was not losing her soul. She was simply trying to know herself. If you are her right now, tucked away in any community with a secret that makes you feel broken, know this: you are not alone. You never were.